it's Wednesday, so you know what that means, okay? I know last week you got a break. Doggy needed a break. He needed to recover from the beatdown he had received just 2 weeks earlier, but he's back today, supposedly recovered on a day that the Lakers have been officially eliminated from the playoff picture. We got NFL stuff to talk about as well. And this brother is about to say some blasphemous, absolutely blasphemous stuff about Major League Baseball. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. But guess what? I can believe it because Doggy is crazy, okay? It doesn't matter, though. I'm here to tame the dog. I'm here to tame the dog. Oh. Ain't that right?
You got it, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
Done a good job of taming.
Let's go.
First takes in the house. Let's go.
Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. And as Stephen A. said, it is Wednesday, a very special day of the week. It's not hump day. It's Mad Dog Russo Day. So good to see you, sir.
I missed it last Wednesday. Oh, did I miss it?
Too?
I missed the son of a gun. I don't believe it. I tried to out-dress him.
All right, let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy.
He looks sharp.
This is a nice outfit.
Thank you so
God,
much.
I loved it.
I do have
this is one of your best.
I do have that kind of effect on people. And Doggy, to be honest, you're not the only one that felt that way. She felt that way, too. She just doesn't want to admit it on national television. But it's okay. It's okay. It's how it goes.
In moments. In moments. You know. He's a bit of an emotional roller coaster. But Stephen A. will be trying to defy the odds today and get a win. And so is Tiger Woods. How about it? Defying the odds on the course at Augusta National. Full coverage of his first round tomorrow can be found over on ESPN Plus. Unbelievable. Doggy, can't wait to get your reaction to the latest on Tiger. But we're going to start with those Lakers. They will be a no-show at the playoffs. It is official. The super team, that is LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook are going home in April. They did not even qualify for the play-in. As for the Nets, they are eighth in the play-in. Good thing I don't bet because I had Lakers-Nets finals going into the season. Disappointing is an understatement. Here's Frank Vogel.
Extremely disappointed. Disappointed for our fan base, disappointed for the Buss family, who gave us all this opportunity. And, we want to play our part in bringing success to Laker basketball. And, we fell short. We're eliminated tonight. And, I can say it's not been due to lack of effort. We have all put in the work. Our guys stayed fighting, right until the end. I know we have games left, but in terms of being eliminated, it brought integrity to the process. We just fell short, through a disjointed season. So we're all disappointed.
Okay, Mad Dog, I said this earlier. Going into the season, I had Lakers Nets in the finals. I was sure it's a lock. Not even close. Who should be on the hotter seat right now? Is it Steve Nash or Frank Vogel?
Oh, come on. It's got to be Nash. Vogel won a championship 15 months ago. I know he wants to get him fired left and right. I mean, geez, he won a title in a tough spot. How about Nash? Can we play a little defense with the Nets? Did you see the Atlanta game on Saturday night when Trae Young was unstoppable when they shot 40 free throws? Yes. Where's the defense with Brooklyn? Mm-hmm. I mean, where is the intensity? Guys, we got to stop here. They think they're so good offensively, they don't have to worry about the defensive end of the floor. Guys like Pat Riley would be going, holy goodness, they're so easy to score upon. So I blame it more on Nash, who is, but they're going to make the playoffs. We understand that. They obviously you clinched the play-in spot. But with Durant, I know he was banged up. Now they have Kyrie. That is, I mean, Vogel gets a break because they won the NBA championship.
But they don't have Ben Simmons.
Nash has done nothing. Nothing. What has Nash done? You're going to sit there and now tell me that Steve Nash has done a great job coaching the Brooklyn Nets?
Well, first of all, a couple of things. Number one, suit looks nice.
And not bad.
And the tie's not bad either.
Yep.
So I give you credit where credit is due.
I bet
that's why. You can trim the hair, get a little haircut there, but that's a different story for another day. But you look good, Doggy. That's number one. Let's get that out the way. Number two. It's interesting that you bring this stuff up about Steve Nash. Steve Nash is a baby in this business. He just got here. Last year was his first year. This year is his second year. This year, Kyrie Irving, because of the vaccine, okay? James Harden wants out of Brooklyn. KD, I would remind you, Brooklyn was tied for the number one seed in the Eastern Conference before KD went out and missed about 17 or 18 straight games. You forget about that stuff. That's got a lot to do with it. That ain't the situation with the Los Angeles Lakers. Even with two of their big three on the floor, they were below 500. with Anthony Davis in the line. Anthony Davis, I understand he only played 36 games last year. He's only played 40 games this year. So he's missed 36 games last year. He's missed over 30 games this year. We get all of that. We understand that. But the Lakers are an international, a global atrocity. That's what they are. The Los Angeles Lakers have been an utter disgrace to the game of basketball. And it's on all levels. We're Nash and Brooklyn. There's a whole bunch of things you could point to. Even now, since the trade, you can't have Ben Simmons. Before it was mental illness, now it's the back. Okay, Kyrie Irving just got the mandate lifted with Mayor Eric Adams in New York City. So he just started playing home games and some road games, by the way, where he's allowed to play. You look at the Los Angeles Lakers. You got LeBron James. You got Anthony Davis at least half the time. You got Russell Westbrook, and you are 17 games under 500.
I agree with that.
The last 21 games, you're 4-17 since the All-Star break. The second worst record in basketball. Okay, let's go. Let's count the ways. We understand that the wonderful, lovely Jeannie Buss made a huge error because she listened to Linda Rambis. First of all, how does a Rambis get an opportunity to make a decision is beyond me. Anybody named Rambis, okay? Kurt, Linda, and anybody else you can find. If their last name is Rambis, they got no business making basketball decisions. So we understand how atrocious that was, okay? Rob Pelinka, national embarrassment right now. I like the man personally, but a national embarrassment right now because the bottom line is you want to sit there and you assume that anybody wearing the purple and gold, you can make amends. But in the end, if you are a coach, you don't play, but you're around the players every day. Schematically, you're the one devising the game plan. You're the one assigned to motivate people and everything like that. The Los Angeles Lakers quit these last several weeks of the season. Quit on Frank Vogel. So you couldn't ingratiate yourself with them enough to make sure they were giving max effort at all times. Have you seen the Los Angeles Lakers, the fast break points they were giving up last night? Have you seen it throughout the season? They're not hustling back on defense. They're not prioritizing team play. They were a bunch of individuals living in la-la, enjoying the sunshine. I'm sorry, that's on Frank Vogel. Now, I understand that the man won a championship a couple of years ago. I'm not saying he can't coach. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be a head coach in the NBA. But in this place, Tinseltown, in Los Angeles, he ain't the guy for the job.
Nor is Luke Walton either. So we're going to throw him out with the dishwater. Luke Walton, we're going to throw him out, and then we're going to throw him out too. How about LeBron take a little responsibility?
I think he deserves a lot of it. What about the stars? What about LeBron James?
What about the stars, not the coaches?
How could you ask me that question? Have I not sat up there and said on numerous occasions, Molly Q, that LeBron James has culpability in all of this? He's the one that okayed bringing Westbrook there. He's the one that okayed all of that. Okay, so there's no question he took a hit. Now, there are people who would argue on his behalf and say, Stephen A., you get exhausted. You're arguing on the phone with them. You're saying, hell no, you shouldn't do this. They don't want to listen. They want to do what they want to do. And LeBron James just threw up his hands and said, bump it. Okay, they want to say all of that. Here's my problem with LeBron James. An MVP candidate as a player, horrible as a GM this year. He definitely deserves culpability. But in the end, if you're the head coach, what the hell is your job? To sit up there and hold signs up? You got to get the job done.
So we're going to fire him now and try somebody else. So this is another Mike Brown. This is another David Black. This is another Luke Walton. How many coaches do we get?
You can look at it that way, but here's another way to look at it.
Fair question.
Here's another way to look at it. Frank Vogel was never really wanted in the first place. Do you know where Frank Vogel was before he got the Lakers job?
They wanted Jason Kidd. I know you've told me this 1,000 times. Go ahead.
Do you know where Frank Vogel was before he got the job?
Assistant somewhere.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
He was here. He's not going to get up. He was going to get up with Mike Greenberg. That's what he was. Okay. There's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. They wanted Ty Lue. But guess what? They wanted to pick his staff for him. They wanted Jason Kidd, but they were scared to give him the head coaching job because of past transgressions, and so they had him as an assistant on the bench. They were supposed to have him as an assistant on the bench with Frank Vogel there just to sit up there the first 2 years, and then Jason Kidd was supposed to take over the job, but they wanted to chip in the bubble, so they kept him, and you let go of Jason Kidd.
Stephen A.
In the end, you got to do the job.
Stephen A., so say they had Kidd, say they had Lou. Let's do this thought experiment. Sure. Where would the Lakers be right now? How different would it be?
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Even with an injured Anthony Davis, they're at least a 500 team, and they're in the playoffs as a 7th or 8th seed. They ain't losing out on a play in New Orleans or San Antonio.
So you're going to throw him out? He wants LeBron making $50 million, who brought Westbrook in. Davis never plays. Vogel wins a championship in a tough spot in the bubble in Orlando, which was not easy.
Yes.
After that 4-month gap, which was not that long ago,
Yes.
by the way. But now we're going to throw him out and find somebody else.
You want to throw Nash out with all he's been through?
Well, Nash didn't win a championship, Steven.
Excuse me, that was in the bubble. Yeah, listen, do you realize that the Lakers, are you ready for this? Do you realize that in the Frank Vogel, LeBron James, Anthony Davis era, do you know that the Los Angeles Lakers have not won a home playoff series because everything they did was in the bubble? The first year, LeBron didn't make the playoffs.
Last
year, they
Phoenix,
won in
no
the
big
first,
deal.
they lost in the
They
first
lost
round.
series.
This year, they're not even making the playoffs. The Los Angeles Laker Nation
about-
at the Staples
Let
Center,
me ask you
now
a question.
Crypto.com,
Let me ask
haven't
you-
even seen them win.
Let me ask you a question. If LeBron went up there today
Yes.
and said, you know what, my fault, don't fire the head coach, he'd stay.
Yeah.
Why doesn't LeBron have? Oh, he'd stay.
Tell me.
If LeBron had a press conference and
Hold
said,
on.
"Hey, listen, we had a lousy year.
Right.
It's my responsibility.
Right.
I'm getting $40 million. I want a Westbrook in here. We're not throwing this guy out with the dishwater."
I would-
If he did that right now, he'd be coaching the team.
I got to tell you this, in all seriousness. I don't know if that's true. You know why? Because I think that right now there's a divide that exists with LeBron and management. And management is like, nah, we trusted you enough. We ain't trusting that. So guess what? We going to do what we need to do. Now, that's not to say it would be the right thing because, again, Linda Rambis. I know nobody in the history of basketball knows that name, you know. I mean, I'm the one that's publicizing this name outside of L.A. Nobody knows who this woman is, okay? Linda Rambis, the wife of Kurt Rambis, and by default, Kurt Rambis actually have a significant say in basketball decisions for the Los Angeles Lakers. This is what you call a global basketball atrocity. That's what it is. And as far as I'm concerned, Vogel's in the middle of that. He can't offset it. It's not his fault, but he can't offset it.
Maybe he should go back to Cleveland then.
They just won
They've
a
got a
championship.
better record.
Which gives him the
That's
right
the
to go
problem
elsewhere.
with the Lakers. When things go bad, make the coach the scapegoat. They'll do that the next year, the year after, the year after. There's no continuity. There's no stability.
I did not say the man doesn't deserve to be a coach. You won the championship. That should earn you the right to be in a more stable situation.
All right.
Tinseltown is different. Get the hell out of there.
This guy.
I'm not giving him the white flag. Where's my tissues?
Okay,
I'm not giving him the white flag on that, but
Yes.
decent argument. What's next?
All right.
Oh, you the judge and jury now?
He's ready. He's done. I like that. All right, let's go to the East. Let's go to the East, okay? Thank you for that. Stop me if you've heard this before. Joel Embiid went off and continues to make a strong case for MVP. Embiid had 45 points on 18 for 30 shooting, and he had 13 rebounds. With 45 points also meant that Embiid is now back on top of the scoring race in the NBA, averaging 30-plus points per game. Embiid has certainly made that case for MVP as the second shortest odds behind the Joker, who has an NBA best 65 double-doubles. That's also a Nuggets single-season NBA record. Embiid, meanwhile, has the most 30-point games this season with 38. Joel Embiid had this to say about the MVP chase earlier this week.
If it happens, great. If it doesn't, I don't know what I had to do at this point. At this point, I feel like, they hate me. So the standard for, guys in Philly or for me is different than the standard than everybody else.
Oh, look at the face. Any
my
issue?
God,
Do you have an
standard.
issue with
First off-
Embiid's MVP campaign? Did you seem annoyed?
No, we can give it to him. It's not the end of the world. Jokic is a better player. You ask me right now to set up my ball club for the next 5 years, I'm taking a kid from Denver. He's a point center. He makes everybody around him better. Plus, he doesn't have Murray. The supporting cast is much better on Philadelphia right now. Even though they've had injuries and Harden in and out, it's much better on Philly than it is on Denver. But if Embiid is going to say, I've done enough, I mean, you've done enough. You go out there and you play every day. You're getting $40 million a year. I've done enough. Well, now I take my...
They're bringing up the money all the time.
I need to go at the media.
They're bringing up the money all the time.
You?
Yes, he always brings up you get it paid.
Oh,
He
Stephen
always says that. All of
Stephen
them
A.
with the
doesn't
money,
care
with the
about
salary.
money.
I care about money. I'm a
million.
capitalist, but he brings it up all the time.
You were a big-time capitalist. I tell you, something high for that.
I mean, come on, what are we playing for? Championships and money.
I've done enough.
Get out of here.
Well, what have they got? The best record in the NBA? What are they, the number one seed? Well, done enough. I never heard Kareem say that all those years when he won the MVP. I never heard Russell say that. Even Chamberlain didn't say that. But Embiid says, you know what? I have got you all these 30-point games. Look at me with my discombobulated roster. I don't know if the media doesn't like me. What else do I have to do? Pipe down. Pipe down. Let the media vote who they want to be the MVP. And it's not like you're a runaway winner. I can make a case for Booker. I can make a case for the Denver center. This is not a no-brainer. So the idea that somehow, I don't know how you can't vote for me. Look at the year I've had. Take it easy, will you? And he's great. Nobody's arguing that. He's great. We get it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, the other kid in Denver, right now, you start a team right now. You're taking Djokovic, you're taking Embiid.
I'm taking Jokic.
Thank you.
Only because of durability. He's always there. Embiid has been injured a lot.
I like the way he plays the game better, those teams. Players get around him better.
I love the way Joel Embiid plays the game. Okay? And let me say this to you. First of all, I got to give you credit where credit is due. Let's start that off on the right track. Got to give you credit where credit is due because you say, I've never heard Kareem Abdul-Jabbar say that. That's what you said. Thank God you didn't bring up George Mikan. I appreciate that. Okay? Thank God you didn't do that. Okay?
Yeah, so I was thinking about Mikan.
I see what I'm saying. Exactly. So I'm glad that you came close to the amount of time. So I appreciate that. That's number one. Number two. Joel Embiid may not get the league. I've been going back and forth. I have a vote. I've been going back and forth. 1 week he is. I mean, listen, I had him in the lead until James Harden arrived. I think James Harden's arrival has hurt him to some degree because Philly has lost a few games that they should have won. And I count that for something, including one to Jokic in Denver, by the way, in Philadelphia. So
That's right.
I got the picture, and they got annihilated by Brooklyn. I didn't forget that. All of this other stuff. I want to throw a 14-game stretch to you, to Joel Embiid. 43, 27, 35, 34, 35, 32. Had a 21-point, 13-rebound game in a loss to Toronto. Then after that, 30, 27, 37, 29, 37, 29, 44, 45. What he's saying is that I've been focused, I have not been playing games, and my level of play has been absolutely, positively consistent. I'm averaging 30, 11, and 4, 49% shooting from the field, 37% from three-point range. I'm battling for a number one seed in the Eastern Conference. I'm only like a game and a half, 2 games out.
Not going to get it.
I don't think they're going to get it. I don't think they're going to get it. Okay. So to me, I think a stronger look needs to be placed towards Devin Booker, who's been a model of consistency, 26-5-5, great player. They're the reigning defending Western Conference champions. They went without Paul, 12-3 in the 15 games that CP3 was out. And Devin Booker has been that dude. And they are 7.5 games better than anybody in the West and 12 games better than anybody in the East. And when you look at Embiid right now, like Giannis, about 19 games over 500. Devin Booker is 46, 47 games over 500.
I agree with that.
So I understand that. But when it comes to Embiid stumping for himself, I think it's important to point this out. We can't have it both ways, doggy. We can't complain about Ben Simmons and the mental issues. We all take mental health incredibly, incredibly serious, which is why we're cynical about him. Because we're saying, excuse me, you're mentally, you got mental issues, but it didn't stop you from buying that crib in Calabasas. It didn't stop you from trying to collect your money, filing a grievance to sue for the $20 million they withheld from you. It didn't stop you once you arrived in Brooklyn from traveling on a team with the team on the road, smiling and laughing up, high-fiving everybody, and all of this other stuff. Suddenly you see him in a mentally good place, mentally and emotionally since you've gotten to Brooklyn. So if we're going to complain about Ben Simmons, well, who got a bigger reason to complain about Ben Simmons than Joel Embiid?
I buy that.
All right, so you got that going on, all right? And not only that, then when you move Ben Simmons, not to move him because you Daryl Morey and you were so transparent in what you wanted, which was James Harden, you had to give up Seth Curry and Andre Drummond too, along with 2 picks, okay? So Joel Embiid's got to deal with all of that. And still, he went out and did all of this. So I got to look at him. And not only that, defensively, he's an impact player. You can't just go by numbers defensively with him. There's a lot of shots that are changed because of him. There's a lot of shots that are not taken because of him. Joel Embiid is big time. And because of that, I think that he's right to stump for himself.
And I feel like he's a victim of his circumstance and this record, because we know the record matters as well, not just the individual play. It's not his fault these other folks aren't showing up.
It's beneath him. He's had a great year. We can figure that out.
Why should he leave it to you?
Why should he leave it to you? He's leaving it to you. I don't got the vote. You do.
All right, but he's leaving it to us. He's not leaving it to us. He's speaking up for himself. What's wrong with that?
Oh, come on.
Come on.
he's had a great season. You don't have to speak for yourself. Did Jordan ever speak for himself?
Oh
Hey, you know what? Vote for me.
He never had to.
45
He never had to. He was on national TV every week.
Well, he's
was
on
on national
TV all
TV
the
every
time,
week.
too,
Who?
Embiid. He's on TV, too.
I wouldn't say
you
that.
guys
I
are
wouldn't say
crazy.
that.
You got to go up there and he's got a campaign.
How much
and
time
then
do we
the
pay
media
attention?
doesn't know. What do you mean the media doesn't know?
Excuse me.
I'm not dumb. I know how good he is.
He's not saying you don't know. He's saying that you're not recognizing it as much as you should.
I am
There's a difference.
recognizing it.
Well,
He's
that's what
making
he's
it
saying.
sound like he's nobody else. He's got other candidates
No.
out there.
He's
this is not a no-brainer.
He's making it sound like he should be the #1 candidate. You should appreciate that.
I don't think he is.
Okay.
But he does. Debatable.
He does?
Okay,
What's the matter with that?
Sometimes, Russo, if you don't toot your own horn, there's no music.
How
Come on.
about that?
Stephen A. always compliments himself about 5 minutes into the show. You're arguing with this guy about that?
The man's got his own channel, okay? Yeah, all right. Everybody's not Mad Dog.
They hated me after a while.
Everybody's not Mad Dog. We see.
You own this show. How do you think I'm on? I'm not on because they like me. Because you happen to want to talk.
Wait a minute. It says First Take. It doesn't say. It doesn't say Stephen A. Your channel says Mad Dog. It could be Adam. It could be Adam Shine. It could be anybody. It could be JT the Brick, my brother. JT the Brick. And guess what? Excuse me. You really want to go that route?
Doesn't care about
really want to go that route?
I
disagree.
Isn't that what it's all about?
I disagree.
Oh, no.
I disagree.
I don't know. I don't make that.
I disagree.
And I am not on General Hospital either.
Well, that's true.
Boy, you don't be commercials with the commercial.
Bricks on General.
Are we done, tooting his horn? Are we done?
Oh, what the heck?
God, come on. All right.
What's next?
Tiger Woods.
Okay.
That's what's next. All right, we had the press conference. I love how he asked me what's next. Like we're in a first take yesterday where Tiger Woods broke the news that as of now he plans to play in the Masters. He looks to be back after that devastating car crash 17 months ago where he almost had his leg amputated and now likely pulling off the improbable, returning to the Masters and plans to play tomorrow in Augusta. When asked if he can win the Masters, Tiger said this.
Well, as of right now, I feel like I am going to play. As of right now. My recovery has been good. I've been very excited about how I've recovered each and every day, and that's been the challenge. My team has been fantastic and worked very hard. So we've got another day of 9 more holes, and then come game time.
You've said countless times throughout your career that you don't enter a golf tournament unless you think that you can win it. So the question is simple. Do you think you can win the Masters this week?
I do.
And there's that. My guy, you heard it. 2 words, I do, and he was not at the altar. Which current athlete has had the biggest impact on their sport, Mad Dog?
Well, he is obviously #1. And because he brings eyeballs to the sets as well. You know what the ratings are going to be this week if he's on the leaderboard on Sunday afternoon?
Through the roof.
I mean, with his storyline, people are going to watch that. They're going to be completely into that. And I would not put it past him. Sunday, I had Fred Couples on radio yesterday who played with him this week here in Augusta. He says, I'd be shocked.
What'd he say?
He said, if he can walk, I'd be shocked. I texted him about it. Yeah. I would be shocked if he's not on a leaderboard Sunday. This is Couples now, who also won a Masters once. He knows the course so well, he's won it 5 times. As far as influence with the sports, I'm looking at the inspirational aspect of it. Tiger makes the young kid, makes the young kid want to go out there, especially the young minority child doesn't have the same opportunity. He makes that kid go out there to go to a golf range, to go hit golf. Hey, if he can do it, I can do it too. They want to follow a guy like that. And the only guy that I can think of, well, there's more guy, Curry. I know you're going to bring up Curry with the shooting with the threes. I think there's some truth to that. I think Ohtani might have a little of that in him too. He's fun to watch. He pitches. He hits. He's in a home run derby. I think you will see the young baseball players say, hey, if Ohtani can go out there and pitch 25 starts a year and hit home runs, why can't I do the same thing? So I think you'll see more of an accent of the two-way player in baseball. No, Ohtani's only done it for 1 year. I got to see a lot more. But Ohtani has that kind of eye-catching ability because he pitches and he hits. And he's good at both. So I would put Ohtani, and it's rare for baseball to have a guy who's got this inspirational quality. That's rare for the sport. So I will put Ohtani in that category. You got Tiger in that category. He's going to tell you Curry, and I'm not going to argue with him on that because he's sharp there for a change. He got that one right. So I'll let him scream there in a minute. So I would put Curry in there. I don't know if there's a hockey player in that situation. America doesn't have any tennis players in that situation, so I can't put any tennis players in that situation.
Williams sisters, but yeah.
Yeah, but it's a little past. Yes, you're right. Yeah. But they're also past their
I guess
prime
not right at this moment. That's
and Tiger is still at this moment. This is a guy who had a major car crash 15 months ago, and now he's out there he's playing. How about the inspirational aspect? The fact that he's even playing is remarkable, and now he's talking about winning. So he's adding another level to it. So Tiger and Ohtani, he'll tell you Curry, those are the 3 guys right now.
Well, first of all,
let's just go to break.
Couple of things. Great job on your part trying to steal my thunder, telling everybody what I was going to do. It's not going to work, though. It's not going to stop the thunder because I can still bring it. That's number one. Number two, from a historical perspective, whether it's Jackie Robinson or somebody like that, we understand the impact. When you talk about today, I get what you're saying, but here's where your argument goes awry, and my argument on behalf of Steph Curry wins by a landslide. When you look at Tiger, no matter how much you want to play golf, first of all, golf's expensive. Okay, so getting involved in the sport, although you might want to do it, until the sport of golf does a better job of facilitating the involvement on the part of others, particularly that young demographic, particularly individuals who can't afford to buy golf clubs, go to the golf club, go to the golf course, golf shoes, outfits, the whole bit, and go to the golf course. You go to the cage and do what you got to do. Until you facilitate people being able to do that, the involvement that you're alluding to and you're talking about is not going to be as profound as we would like, although we know in the mind's eye people want to do it. Fact is, wanting to do it and then being able to do it is an entirely different matter altogether. Secondly, it's such a gift to be able to play like Tiger plays. Most people look at him and they look at him like they would look at somebody like LeBron or Kareem or Wilt Chamberlain or something like that. I can't do that because of how special he is. As special, as sensational as the greatest shooter that has ever lived. Steph Curry, who is Steph Curry, that is. You walk away thinking, man, I get in the park, man, I can do that. He's 6'3". You understand what I'm saying? Light-skinned brother, good-looking dude, model citizen, the whole bit, got all of that going on. But he shoots. He moves without the basketball. He's got nice ball handling skills, and he can shoot. You can't tell a kid if he go to the park enough, he can't be that. You don't look at Steph Curry and say, I can't be that. You look at Steph Curry and say, I can be that. Now that you're probably wrong because it's a gift. But nevertheless, when you young and dumb, you don't know that. You don't look at him and say, I can't do that. You believe you get in the park enough. All I need is a basketball. I don't even need shorts. I just need a basketball. I don't even need nets on the rim. I don't even need to be in some posh gymnasium or something like that. I don't need to join the AAU squad. I can go to any park in any city in America, and all it needs to have is a rim. And if I get out there and practice enough, I can do what Steph Curry can do. You got a whole bunch of people who believe that. It's more plausible, more obtainable in their mind than a Tiger Woods is. And that's why Steph Curry is the one that's had that profound impact. Look at the game. It started with the D'Antoni Nationals, boys, but look at the way the game. How many times have you lamented the absence of a mid-range game? Why do we appreciate KD so much, DeMar DeRozan so much, Middleton so much? Because we're looking at mid-range and we're saying that's an aberration because it got to a point where you shoot the three or it's a layup. That's it, because that's what the game changed and evolved into. That's because of Steph Curry.
But that also is one of the reasons why the game is not as exciting as it used to be. Because
I think the game is exciting.
All they do is shoot threes.
I think the game is exciting.
They give up 2-on-1 fast breaks. They throw it out there so some kid can shoot a three.
No.
They chuck
You're talking
those
fundamentals.
threes constantly.
You're talking fundamentals.
There's no balance to the game anymore.
I agree with that. You're talking fundamentals.
That's the problem with
But
Curry.
you said exciting.
Because Curry, everybody wants to go out and shoot 40-footers.
No. When you're talking about basketball fundamentals, which you just brought up, there's a lot to lament. There's a lot for us to look at and say, damn it, where's the defense? What happened to hustling and getting back on defense? What happened to following your shot? What happened to settling for the 12 to 15-foot shot when they take away 19, 21 feet jump shots? What happened to that? That's basketball fundamentals. I'm talking excitement. When you sit up there and you look at these brothers fire away, okay, and you see some of the extraordinary shooting that we see, not everybody, not even most, but some of them, the game can be I think the game is more exciting now than it was years ago. When the Knicks were playing, when the Knicks were relevant. When you had Anthony Mason.
That was an ugly team. How about the 69-70 Knicks? The way they moved the basket. How about the Blazers of 76-77?
I don't know. I know Blazers 76-77. I didn't see the Knicks in 1969 when I was 2 years old.
No threes.
Thank you very much.
With Bobby Gross and Larry Steele and, of course, Walton and Lucas. No. We get it. But, I mean, the other kid in Denver, right now.
With dudes that dribbled like Mad Dog Russo, that had one hand and then weren't ambidextrous at all. Stop it.
I am not disputing the Curry. I am not disputing the Curry.
You like defense, too.
I like balance.
I like it, too. But the skill level in today's generation, far beyond.
Let me ask you this, gentlemen. If we were having this conversation 5 years ago, 7 years ago, would this be non-debatable and it would be the Williams sisters? Because of what they overcame, the inclusivity aspect in tennis?
I think so.
I think
and
that's
the
fair.
dominance.
Because Tiger had his father, and they had
Yes.
the clubs and everything else, and Richard Williams had to take those kids to those Compton playgrounds.
Yep.
We saw the movie.
Yes, King
And so
Richard.
as a result from that, I would think the fact that he developed not one, two. No, I don't love him, but he developed two champions.
Whoa. You don't love who?
him.
Richard Williams.
Oh, got you.
He taught them from a book.
Well, whatever he did, they won two. They're two of the greatest players of all time, especially Serena.
Absolutely.
And he deserves tremendous credit for that. No question.
Pretty much all of it. Him and his wife.
Yeah, I mean all of it.
Pretty much all
And
of
the
it.
girls,
Yeah, his
and
wife-
the
his
girls,
wife too.
the girls for putting in work.
You know,
Yeah, his
that's what
wife
I'm just
too.
saying. We
Yeah.
talk about they deserve credit for the greatness of the girls.
So I-
the girls are
That's
great.
just so. It's
So
the
he
most
gets all the
remarkable
credit.
story to
He
me.
gets all the credit for that.
Even
And
more
he
so than
brought
him.
an element to the sport that we haven't had in women's tennis for a long time. And so I 100%, I agree, their impact. But I'm not talking about them right now. I'm talking about Tiger this moment. Look, you led with it at 10 o'clock.
That's right.
11 o'clock, you led with it.
That's right.
It's going to be all over the place tomorrow on
Well,
TV.
you know
Who's
what?
not going to follow Tiger tomorrow at 10:38 when he hits his first tee shot?
Time out. We also led when Steph Curry showed up at the Garden and broke the all-time three-point shooting record. We led with that too. Remember that.
No balance, comes down the court and fills up a 40-footer.
Come on now.
Oh, my
Come on, man.
God.
Come on now. You got to marvel
Agree to
at that
disagree.
kind of greatness.
Oh, he's great.
All
He's
right.
only won the 2 titles without Durant. He
Okay,
wouldn't
we're
even
not
won
doing
any,
this
but that's
again.
okay.
Agree to
Won 3.
He
disagree.
won one. He's got 3.
Yeah,
He
because
won
of
one without
Durant.
Durant.
Durant
no,
won
he
2.
got, what, all right, but he had one without
bump,
Durant.
please.
Without Irving and freaking Love
Oh,
on Cleveland,
please.
you go on that.
Oh,
Just
that's
roll the
ridiculous.
bump. We all know who won. Oh, sad and Day Smith. So sad. Sorry, not sorry. It's been a rough stretch for Stephen A's New York Yankees. 0 World Series victories since 2009. Forget victories. They haven't even been to a World Series since then. And if you ask Brian Cashman why, he puts much of the blame on that infamous 2017 Astros team who beat the Yankees in the ALCS, as he told The Athletic, quote, "The only thing that stopped was something that was so illegal and horrific. So I get offended when I start hearing we haven't been to the World Series since 2009, because I'm like, well, I think we actually did it the right way. Pulled it down, brought it back up, drafted well, traded well, developed well, signed well. The only thing that derailed us was a cheating circumstance that threw us off." Would you like to start here?
He can start.
Okay.
What a-
okay.
what
Is
a
Cashman
joke.
right
What a
to
joke.
blame the
What a
Astros for the
joke.
World
Oh,
Series
joke.
drought?
Hey, Brian, look at the statistics. You know, in the 4 games in that series in 2017, the Yankees scored 3 runs. The Astros were accused of cheating because of their offense, not
Yeah.
because of their pitching. The Yankees in 4 games in that series in Houston scored 3 runs. They lost in 7 games. Number 2, they hit 156 as a team. Number 3, they were 2 for 16 with runners in scoring position. Number 4, they had a relay at the end of game 2. Well, little Tuve, ran around those bases and scored on a double by Correa that didn't even reach the wall in right center field.
Absolutely.
Number 3, they had Sabathia, who we all know he's great, but Sabathia was way past his prime. And in a game-deciding game, they had Sabathia pitch game 7, and the Yankees got like 3 hits against 3 Astro pitchers. Number 4, if it's all about the Astros' fault, then how come the Astros beat the Yankees in 2019? They won 2 out of 3 at Yankee Stadium. Or in 2015, when they knocked the Yankees out of the playoffs in a wild card game. And you know what happened after the 2017 postseason, which the Yankees did lose that series to Houston, that Cashman's referring to? They fired Joe Girardi. So let me get this straight. The Astros cheated against the Yankees, and the Yankees paid everybody back by firing the manager? Really? Firing the manager. And the last thing I looked, Aaron Boone has not won a title since, and Girardi won a championship in 2009. And lastly, if I may, in 2009, when the Yankees won the title and beat the Phillies, A-Rod, you know what he did in that postseason? He hit 365, 6 home runs. He did a good job of Embiid, so now it's my turn. A-Rod, 365, 6 homers, and 18 RBIs. He dominated the postseason. Let's be honest. He was lit up like a Christmas tree. The Barry Bonds of the East Coast. Let's be fair. That's called like we see it. Then I hear the Yankees say, you know what, we shouldn't have won in 2009 because we had a guy there that maybe was not
Can
playing
you
by
just
the...
repeat that line again?
Like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Red, white, yellow, blue, all those little lights. I mean, do we have to sit there? So I'm going to hear him now moan and groan about a World Series or about a championship series where the Yankees in 4 games in Houston hit 156. They couldn't score. How come they couldn't hit the Astro pitchers? And they hit 2 for 16 with runners in scoring position. They never got a big hit. Harry fired Girardi, who ended up in Philadelphia because he was sick of Girardi. So I don't want to hear from Brian Cashman. About time the Yankees go out there and get to a World Series again and win one of these things.
This is a debate show. So normally we disagree. I'm not going to disagree too much with what you said because here's my thing. Brian Cashman, shove aside 2017 for a second here. You've been to the postseason the last 5 years. Have you won anything? You've been to the postseason 9 times in the last 12 years since you won the World Series. Have you won anything? The reality of the situation is that it is an utter embarrassment as a diehard Yankee fan to listen to the GM point to 1 year when you had 12.
Yeah.
You had 12. You had 12 seasons and 9 postseason appearances. And to lean on 1 year that you should have won as an excuse for why you haven't done it all since 2012 is egregious because we don't know if you would have beat the Dodgers. We don't know that.
Correct.
And so the reality of the situation is Brian Cashman is embarrassed, and he embarrassed himself by saying that because it highlighted, made you think about, okay, let's go back and look at what the Yankees done. Now let me get on you for a second here. Having said all of that about Brian Cashman, it doesn't mean that I'm going to let you off the hook for what you said about him in regards to 2017. I will remind you that those pitchers I love how you brought up the runs that the Yankees were incapable of scoring. One run, and then a 0 in Game 7. All the games the Astros won were home games. They didn't win at Yankee Stadium. They won all the games in the arena, in the stadium where they were cheating. And you know they were cheating. And you, of all people, the paragon of virtue, the one that brings up, what about the integrity? Remember that argument about Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire, his first day here? But suddenly, we just gonna forget that. We gonna gloss over the integrity issue. You didn't even bring it up. You didn't even bring it up. You, of all people, who lives off of that, who leans on integrity at every turn, you gonna just ignore the fact that they won all their games at the Astrodome, at Minute Maid Park. Is that what it's called? Minute Maid Park, right? Minute Maid Park. Verlander beat him twice. We know how much of a stud Verlander is, okay? And that's before he married Kate Upton, okay, which is an excellent choice. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is that that's before he did it. The man's a stud, okay? Excuse me, Game 1, Keuchel, Dallas, okay? This brother right there pitched in Game 1. Game 7, Morton, he was having an exceptional postseason. He shows up in a Game 7. Now, obviously, they didn't help CC Sabathia. They gave him absolutely no runs whatsoever, and I get all of that. But in the end, doggy, if you know you cheating on your home turf with trash cans and Biggie giving you a heads up on the signals that's coming your way, did it ever occur to you that they wouldn't have been able to score any runs? It would have got tight, and as a result, pitchers might have pitched a little bit differently because you know when it's tight, palms get sweaty, mistakes happen, you know that, but they had an edge, and they gave themselves an unfair, unethical, amoral advantage. They should have been stripped of their World Series title.
No,
Excuse me.
No
they
way.
should have been, listen, that 1 year, they cheated. I'm not talking about the history. I'm not looking past that and saying 18, 19, 20, the Astros. No, just that 1 year. Once you caught cheating, you discredit your title.
I don't want to.
You discredit your title. Are you denying that?
Where was Game 7 against the Dodgers that year? It was in Los Angeles.
It was Los Angeles.
Okay, they won 2 games in LA that year to win the World Series. Did they take away the championship?
Time out. I was at that game. I actually went to that game and sit in the stands with my boy Jeff, who's a diehard Mets fan. And I'm depressed about it because I'm the godfather.
Your buddy Jeff.
I'm the godfather of his children. I'm the godfather of his children. Yeah. And do you know what? By the way, as an aside, he tried to big up the Mets. So you know what he said to me last night? We look really good in spring training. This is just pathetic. It's the only Mets fans say something like that. Yankee fans don't say something like that. Only Mets fans say something. We really look good in spring training.
That later.
But we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Here's my point, though. Yu Darvish was a nightmare. You know that. He was an atrocity.
Oh, he was bad.
He was horrible. I left the game early. We looked at him warming up. We looked at him warming up before Game 7. I went like this. He looks awful here. He looked awful warming up. Okay? And he got smacked around. What I'm saying to you is this. It doesn't matter. If you cheated to get there, You discredit your championship, and you of all people,
Yeah, why
Mr.
are you
Moral
defending
Compass,
it?
the paragon of virtue, standing on a pedestal of moral.
You are going
and
to make
ethic.
excuses for that lousy Yankee offense in 4 games in Houston.
Yes.
Where they couldn't hit themselves out of a paper bag.
Because
You're going to make
I don't
an
think
excuse for
I
that?
don't think it was. You know what? Listen, as far as I'm concerned, they discovered them cheating offensively. We don't know if they cheated defensively.
Oh, no, come on,
I don't
that's
know
not
anything.
fair.
I don't. What do you mean that's not
Why
fair?
are you defending
Not fair.
I'm defending Houston.
You're
I'm defending
You are
defending
defending
you
Houston.
are.
You are defending Houston.
Why are you defending Houston?
Hey, how many runs did the Astros score in that series against the
Excuse me.
I don't
Yankees?
I'm right
remember.
here.
I don't
I'm
have
right
you-
here.
I don't have your
I'm right
memory.
here. All right, don't look at her. Look at me. Okay? I'm right here. Don't try that nonsense with me. The fact of the matter is, when they went to Yankee Stadium, what happened?
Oh, they got some good points.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great.
So all of a sudden, everything you do right is on your home turf when you got trash cans and signals. When they had to remove a dude near the dugout because you guess what? He was stealing signals. Don't get me started banging on trash
The
cans.
Yankees were so they were so wronged in that series. Then why did Cashman fire Girardi?
I don't think he should have fired Girardi. I don't agree with that.
Scapegoat.
I agree with you there. I don't think he should have fired Girardi. I'm a Girardi fan. I think that Girardi should have been there. And I like Aaron Boone, don't get me wrong, but I don't think Girardi should have ever
How
left.
about 2009? You're going to give the Yankees a break there with A-Rod?
Not at all. Not at all. But the point that I'm trying to make to you is that just like you pointing about A-Rod and the Yankees, how come I can't do that with the Astros? Your argument is inconsistent. It's inconsistent and you know it.
I am trying to I'm trying to differentiate from the moral joke and the ineptitude of cheating and the how you pronounce it, depravity?
All right, depravity.
Did I get it right?
That'll work.
That of cheating, which is terrible.
Okay.
And the actual how much they helped them win a championship. They did not need to
Are you ready
cheat
for this?
to win the title.
Wait a minute.
That's what
But they did it anyway.
But they did.
And
that's wrong.
And that's why they should be confiscated for the title. But hold on, let me get this point in before we leave. You bring up individual praise, whether it's A-Rod, whether it's Barry Bonds, whether it's somebody else. And listen, people make mistakes, and as individuals, and it is what it is. The Houston Astros collectively cheated. The manager was fired. The GM was fired. You had players that were in on it. As Corey, he had to give up his managerial spot with the Boston Red Sox because they sat up there and said, this is what you did before they brought him back. You got all of that going on, but the Astros keep the title? Please, they should throw that in the trash can. How about nobody gets it? How about 2017? No champion. How about that?
Did the 1919 Reds give up their title?
Go to break. Go to break. I'm about to get up. The Lakers, they didn't get the invite to the postseason party. It is official. The super team that is LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook are going home in April. They did not even qualify for the play-in. As for LeBron, he's had an incredible individual season, passing Karl Malone for second all-time on the scoring list, and he's second in the scoring race right now behind Joel Embiid. Mad Dog. Have the Lakers gotten enough from LeBron this season?
Oh, not from this season. They certainly haven't. If you're LeBron James and you're the leader of that ball club and still, all right, Durant, but probably the best pound for pound, still probably the best player in the league, you cannot be, as Steven said earlier today, 17 games under 500. If you're LeBron, Jordan, they'd be in the playoffs if Jordan was on that team. I'll tell you that right now. And we're going to sit there and we're going to compare him to Jordan. You think that Jordan's going to be on this team 17 games under 500? In the prime of his career, I know LeBron's probably a little past his prime, but you get the idea. You think Kareem? How about Kareem? You think they'd be in the playoffs if Kareem was their center and by him with nobody else?
Magic.
That is a joke. Magic. Another Bird. Not a chance. That is what drives me crazy.
Need a tissue.
And LeBron, how about LeBron taking the responsibility?
Give me a tissue, please.
How about LeBron going out there here in the next 24 hours and saying to me, you know what? Blame it on me. I'm the best player. I'm the best player. I did a lousy job with this team. Forget the GM in Westbrook. We discussed that. He's a terrible GM. Put together the band. How about LeBron go out there and says, I got to take the responsibility. It is a joke that the Pelicans, without Williamson and Ingram didn't play half the year, and the Spurs, the San Antonio Spurs with the Utah kid is a power forward. I mean, they make the playoffs of a LeBron James. That is a disgrace. If you're LeBron James, you got to be embarrassed by that. You're LeBron James. You're the second or third best player in the history of the NBA. If I take any of the other guys on that list who are in the top 10, Kobe, Jordan, Kareem, Wilt, Russell, anybody you want to name, Bob Pettit, anybody you want to name, he's on the list. Anybody you want to name, they are going to make the playoffs. I don't expect them to win 60 games. You're telling me that somebody like Jordan wouldn't go 45 and 37 on the Lakers? So to me, he's got to take responsibility for that. Now, as far as what he's done for the Lakers the whole time, listen, are we going to build a trophy? Are we going to have a statue like we have with West and Matt? No, we're not. Because he's been here for 4 years, and 2 of the years they haven't made the playoffs. Last year they got knocked out in the first round, and the other year they won it in a bubble after a 4-month gap. So he is not an iconic Laker, but he did win a championship. So I can't go crazy from that standpoint. But the problem that LeBron has, and I got to let him talk in a minute, the problem that LeBron has, he's got too many teams. He wears too many caps. Is he a Cavalier? No, he's a Heat. Oh, he's back to the Cavaliers. Now he's a Laker. Now we're going to speculate if he's going to stay there in L.A. It goes somewhere else. The great player stays with the same team. Go look at all the great players in the history of the NBA. 9 times out of 10. Kareem went to 2 teams, and Wilt played for a couple teams.
Yes.
But a lot of them played in the same team.
But not all.
Not all. But he played for 4 teams.
Right.
It's almost a mercenary. That's the problem I have with him.
Well, that's the problem you have with him because that's how you're built, and I understand that. And I don't necessarily think that you're wrong when you bring up those comparisons. Fair enough. But I think that we have to really, really crystallize and bring this home. This is the worst season of LeBron James' career. Because I'm not talking about his numbers, and I'm not talking about what he did as a player. I'm talking about what he's a part of. The GOAT conversation is officially over. It was never there for me. It was always Michael Jordan first, LeBron second. But if ever there was any doubt, this cemented the fact that LeBron James cannot be considered to GOAT. That conversation is over. And you know why it's over? Because LeBron James was on the Lakers averaging 29, 30 points a game, and this still happened. If he was injured and missed games and he was playing hobbled and we looked at him and he's averaging 16 or 17, you know what? You can get away with that. We can look at him and say, damn, he was really hurt. He just wasn't healthy. Oh, no. You were good enough to average 29 a game. How come you weren't good enough to get your troops in order so you could be a respectable team? This is a man that spoke out and said he was against the play-in. Now you ain't even make the play. Okay, the New Orleans Pelicans, without Zion Williamson, and the San Antonio Spurs, years removed from the retirement of Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker, nowhere close to 500, they are going to the playoffs ahead of a team led by LeBron James. And when you look at it from that perspective, the GOAT conversation has officially ended. It's done. And oh, by the way, the Lakers, this is the worst season in the history of the franchise. The history of the franchise. They missed the playoffs 6 years with Kobe. A couple of those years he was hurt. They missed the playoffs. But guess what? They were expected to because they weren't that good. This team was a championship contender. We looked at Russell Westbrook. We looked at Anthony Davis. We looked at LeBron James. We said they're going to compete for the title. And you don't make the playoffs when not 8, but 10 teams are allowed in a conference to make the postseason. It is a disaster. It's not all on LeBron James. But the fact of the matter is, you got coaxed into Russell Westbrook. I want to be here. Could have had Buddy Hield for Kyle Kuzma. Could have worked out. Could have had a deal worked out where DeMar DeRozan had a sign and trade working. Aaron Goodwin and those boys had a sign and trade deal ready to go for DeMar DeRozan, okay? You could have had that. But what y'all wanted to do was go in the direction of a Russell Westbrook. And Russell Westbrook has taken a lot of hits. Russell Westbrook can't shoot, but he can still play. Russell Westbrook's in a different situation. We don't see what we saw this year. You can make an argument that that environment and the LeBron factor made Westbrook worse. And so when you look at it from that perspective, the only thing that I got against Russell Westbrook, you can't sit up in a press conference and say, I had no expectations. That's a lie. Or you don't belong being a Laker if you say, I'm not talking about his game. I'm just talking about the responsibility of knowing you walk up in there, you come with expectations.
Time out.
All of those things.
So I'm not clear on your answer, though. Has LeBron given the Lakers enough this season?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Because we weren't looking at LeBron. If LeBron averaged 27 like he has throughout his career, okay, but he was a better leader this year, what's the difference? They win more games. We need 29 from him. And let me say this, too. I'm not blaming LeBron James from the standpoint of, I know he played hard. I know he went out there and performed. I know he can't do everything, but you're responsible to some degree for this roster that was assembled. You had a voice that was very potent and powerful. You could have used it for a greater good. You didn't do that. And let me say this because I love LeBron. Love LeBron. Even though I get on him for certain things that happen on the court. Model citizen, role model, the things he does off the court, he's phenomenal. I just think that this was a bad year for him. But I will say this, my brother, you can't come on the court against OKC before the season ends, but you missed the Phoenix Suns game last night. Because then you'll be playing for the scoring title. And no, that's not going to, we're noticing that. You better sit out the rest of the season. Put on your shades, okay? Wear your shorts, sit on the bench, do all of that. You can't miss Phoenix. You can't miss New Orleans when you still had a chance for the play-in, but then the season's about to end and you got a game against OKC where you could drop 40, 45 because we're going to sit there and look at it and say, oh, you just playing for the scoring title. We ain't going to, I'm telling you, it'll be a bad look. LeBron, trust me, my brother, sit down. Don't play the rest of the season because if he plays now,
no, I hear you.
We gonna
I know
look
what
at it
the
wrong.
narrative's going to be. I do want to point out, though, Anthony Davis missed 37 games this season. LeBron missed 23. So they did deal with a lot of injuries.
They did deal with a lot of injuries, which is a problem, but you still had enough to not be 17 games under 500. Again, you missed the playoffs because you go 41-41 or 40-42 with those injuries, we'll accept it. But this team quit weeks ago. That's a part of it. You're a leader. They quit. And when you talk about Jordan or Magic or others, what are you talking about? You're talking about guys that would hold other individuals accountable. Bird called out McHale. McHale and him didn't speak at times. Bird questioned whether they were soft. Remember when they going to lose the title to L.A.?
Oh,
and Bird said, we soft. We're soft. And they came back and they played hard. You got to hold cats accountable when you're that dude.
So you agree with what Russo said earlier? If this was MJ and some other names that you mentioned,
without question,
they would be in the playoffs?
Without question. Listen.
With the same exact circumstances?
I'm not saying the playoffs. I'm saying they would have been a better team. They would have won about 8 more games. They would have tinkered around 500. They would have probably been in a play-in.
Well,
I'm saying that. I'm saying something along those lines. That's what I'm proclaiming. You don't nosedive the way these people nosedive and then going to go out and chill in L.A., the sunshine and everything, like everything's all right. Nah, it would have been difficult for you to walk the streets. You would have had a problem coming to work every day if you were playing with MJ, Magic, Bird, and you sitting there wetting the bed like that. You'd have had a problem. You had a problem. Jordan proved that with The Last Dance. He told you how he was. Talk to Magic. Ask Magic how he would have been. Think about that. They don't play. Leaders hold people accountable to win. Period. You don't give a damn about friendship when you want to be your damn friend and we lose it. We lose it. We stink. Why I want to be your friend? Why I don't want anything to do with you? What did Kobe do? Hell with it. Ain't trying to be friends. When you trying to win, hell with that. The Lakers are horrible because they quit. And they took people's money while they were doing it.
I don't know. I'm ready to run through the tunnel with that speech.
Hey,
do you feel golden right now with this guy? Do you feel inspired
That was
or what? Let's go.
That was a superb performance.
Hold on. I got to get out of my chair.
I say what I mean.
Let's go.
I say what I mean.
I'm going to give you a big hug.
I might run an extra mile on the treadmill today because of you.
I say what I mean.
I give you a big hug.
Go hard on the elliptical.
A big hug.
Hug the resistance.
A big hug.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Let's go to break. Tiger Woods back at Augusta.
As of right now, I feel like I am going to play. As of right now. My recovery has been good. I've been very excited about how I've recovered each and every day, and that's been the challenge. My team has been fantastic and worked very hard. So we've got another day of 9 more holes, and then come game time.
You've said countless times throughout your career that you don't enter a golf tournament unless you think that you can win it. So the question is simple. Do you think you can win the Masters this week?
I do.
Okay, first let me just say this. This whole story is beyond inspiring.
Unbelievable.
That could have been a deadly car crash, and for him to be back and competing is absolutely unbelievable. But we're going to talk about actually winning. Do you think he can do that?
I definitely think he can be there Sunday on a leaderboard. I think it's an incredible accomplishment is to play. I think if he makes the cut, I'll look at that as an incredible accomplishment. I don't know if he can win. I do think he'll be in the mix, but there's a lot of great players, Rahm and Dustin Johnson and Schauffele. There's a lot of great Morikawa who are not going to be intimidated. Justin Thomas, and he hasn't played a competitive event in about 15, 16 months. He's 46 years of age. That's a very tough course to walk, hills up and down. I think that he probably will make the cut. I think he probably will be in the mix in some capacity Sunday, but I got to be fair. I don't think he's 60-1 to win. 60-1. Dustin Johnson's 18-1. So I don't think he will win, but I think on Sunday he'll be in the fray. He'll be in the mix some way.
Stephen A., can I just piggyback real quick because I have a question. Does the age really matter in golf? 46 years old in golf?
Well, remember, Nicklaus won it when he was 46 in 1986, and Mickelson won last year at the PGA. He was 51. Those are the two oldest players who ever have won a Grand Slam.
Yeah.
So out of all the players who have ever won a Grand Slam, 46 is the oldest with Nicklaus, and then Phil did it last year when he won at Kiowa. So from a standpoint of history, you usually don't win when you're 46 or older. But remember, this is perfect for him. He loves the golf course. He's won it 5 times. There's no rough. So if he was at Winged Foot with rough at 6 inches like a forest, and he hits this drive in a rough, he would have trouble with that leg because of the, getting the ball to the green in rough from 180 yards. You don't have to worry about that here. There's no rough at the Masters. He can get the ball all over the place, and he's going to be okay. But he is such a great. Do you doubt Tiger Woods?
No.
Do you doubt? That's Michael Jordan.
He almost had his leg amputated.
Do you doubt that guy? If he tells you I'm here to win, I don't think he's won 14 times. So I think he will be in the mix, but I don't think he'll win the tournament.
Let me answer the question first of all. Let's get something out of the way right now. And I'm not going to pose this just to you, Molly. It's the real for you. Okay. All right. How are y'all hip?
My hips are stiff.
Tell me.
I sit too much.
Compared to what it was a decade ago. How about 2 decades ago?
I can't walk. You see me in the middle of the night trying to go to the bathroom. I can't walk.
We need, I'm speaking to the American
disease.
public here. We all need to grow up, okay? Look, the hips ain't the same. Hips don't lie. You understand? Shakira said it. I'm going to say it again. Hips don't lie, okay? The bottom line is what he was when he was 21, 25, 30. He ain't that dude now. Now, to answer your question directly, do I believe that Tiger can win the green jacket? Respectfully, hell no. He ain't winning this week. Not this week. You've been gone for 15 months. Let's respect the contemporaries in the sport of golf who have been exceptional for quite a long time. And let's remember who we saw in Tiger Woods prior to the accident. He struggled in the tournament to reach the top 50. Let's remember that. We had Michael Collins and others explaining this to us. They say he looks better now. We don't want to count Tiger out. No, not over the course of his career, meaning that since he's back, assuming he's going to participate in numerous tournaments to come, I got confidence that Tiger Woods ultimately is going to win again. I believe in the brother. But this weekend, after being gone that period of time, he's just going to come back out there, you understand what I'm saying, and swing, and it's going to be all right. Listen, this dude is on the record saying, my struggle is in my ability to walk the course. Walking 18 holes, he's hoping won't be a problem over the course of 4 days. Let's understand and define what a win is. A win is going to be him making the cut. A win is going to be him participating and competing. He already won because we see him out there, Molly.
Don't be Debbie Downer. I love a good comeback story.
It is. I'm saying he's already come back. He almost died.
I know.
And then he survived. And not only then after he survived, they were wondering whether or not his leg was going to need to be amputated. He survived that. And then after that, he comes back. And then he's playing with his kid a few months ago. And now he's at the Masters. Yeah. He's already won. Just not officially when it comes to the Masters. Let's put it in its proper perspective. Pump the brakes. I hope that Tiger makes it through the weekend. That, to me, is a win.
Okay.
That's what I'm looking at.
Well, to him, it's not. What did Fred Couples say? Wasn't he on your show?
Fred Couples said if he's on the leader, he thinks he'll be in the leaderboard on Sunday. Fred says, I wouldn't put anything past him. I think he can win.
I hope he's right.
By the way, the odds moved. 40-1 odds.
And what's
not 60-1. Now 40-1. Stephen A. Believers right.
You make a fortune. Would you put $1,000 on Tiger at 40-1?
Well, I mean, I make a decent living, so $1,000 is not that big of a deal. Would I do something that would pinch me? Pinch my wallet? No. If it wouldn't pinch my wallet, yes. Risk versus
I don't
reward.
even know where to go from here.
Exactly.
I don't even know.
He'd put the 1,000 up.
I'll see you Monday.
Huh?
See you Monday.
Something like that.
Okay.
Something like that.
Every April 15th is a special day in baseball, but this year it's the 75th anniversary of Jackie Robinson shattering the color barrier and setting the stage for momentous change in society. In Brown versus Board of Education, 7 years after Robinson's debut, the Supreme accomplished two things last night. They officially ended the Lakers season and they notched their franchise record 63rd win of the season. Phoenix is the best team in the NBA this season, and according to the standings, it isn't close. Phoenix has some distance on the defending champion Bucks, who knocked off the Suns in 6 games last year. The team split their season series this year at 1 apiece. The Suns, meanwhile, are undefeated, 47-0 when leading after 3 quarters this season. How about them apples? Christopher Mad Dog Russo. How many great teams, because it feels crowded right now in the East. It's, more in the East. How many great teams are there in the NBA right now?
I don't think there's any myself when I consider great. Great.
Great.
I mean, they're good teams. Great teams.
You don't consider there's any? Like 0?
Yeah, absolutely, Steve. 0. Nare.
Steve, 0. Steve.
I'm going to give it. Let me do something with Phoenix for a second. Can I, man?
Okay.
Steve, you listening? Take your hand off your brow. There you go. Here you have it. All right. In 1978.
You got to stop. You got to stop.
This is a good one.
Let him go. Let him go. Let him go, Mom.
At least go
Let
in
him
the
go.
80s.
Let him go. Let him go.
78, 79.
Let him go.
The Sonics. You know the Sonics.
Oh.
They had DJ.
Yes.
Gus Williams.
Downtown Freddie Brown. Jack Sikma.
Lonnie Shelton.
Johnny Marvin
Johnson.
Webster.
They lost the NBA final.
Yes, to the Washington Bullets.
In 7. The next year, they beat the Bullets in 5 games. They had the same team. Now, that team had Sikma, Shelton, as you just mentioned, DJ, and I bring up that team because they had great guards. DJ and Gus. You think this Suns team is as good as that team? Not a chance. Not a chance. And nobody in America is going to sit there and say, you know what? The 79 Supersonics is one of the great teams in the end. No, they're not. Good ball club in that era. But that team was not a great team, nor is this Suns team. They got a Hall of Fame backcourt. You get another great player on that team? Bridges isn't a great player. Crowder is not a great player. The center is overrated. I would never give him that max contract. Oh, he's overrated. Oh, come on. He's overrated. He got killed last year by Milwaukee. That is not a great man. That's a good team. Booker's great. Paul's great. It's a good team.
He got killed last year by Giannis. Not by Milwaukee, by Giannis.
Wasn't competitive.
Giannis is Giannis is a 2-time league MVP.
He's a great player.
Defensive player of the year.
Great player.
A lethal in the open court. Okay, 6'11" with that wingspan, that agility.
A great team.
I didn't say they were a great team, but what I'm saying to you is this. I gotta stop you, okay? First of all, you try and get slick because you bring up some stuff from history, acting like you're the only one that knows something. That's all right. I remember the Bullets with Wes Unseld and Elvin Hayes and those boys, okay, and Dandridge and those guys. I got all of that, okay? We understand that. They were good teams. You want to say they weren't great teams? You got to take into account the process of evolution, how the game evolves, how things change. You got to go by that. You can't just ignore that. The game is different now than it was in the 70s. Mad Dog Russo,
you
the 60s.
You judge it by the Hall of Famers, the roster.
Time out. When you want to sit up there and make an argument that these teams weren't Bird, McHale, Parrish, and those boys. They weren't Magic, Kareem, Worthy, and those boys. They weren't Jordan, Pippen, and those boys. I feel you on that. But when you look at the team overall, and I throw Kobe and Shaq in there. I got it. I understand. But when you look at Booker, CP3 going to the Hall of Fame, you know.
I agree.
You know that. First ballot Hall of Fame.
He has not been great in the postseason in his history.
Excuse me. He was great last year.
He was terrible. In Game 5, he was awful.
He had a bad game.
He's not supposed to. He's a Hall of Famer in the finals.
Excuse me. The great Michael Jordan.
He won 6 titles, Stephen.
The great Michael Jordan was sitting on the bench when the Bulls made a run against the Portland Trail Blazers. You have bad games. You're human. Now, he came in and finished the deal, but the point is, before that, Phil Jackson had him on the bench. So stop acting like you can't have a bad game. We're talking overall, okay? Let's talk about great teams. You look at the Warriors. You want to bring up, is Klay Thompson going to the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Is Steph Curry going to the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
That's right. You got a backcourt that's the greatest shooter. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, damn. 2 Hall of Famers? I mean, that's something to sneeze at? That's something to sneeze at? Are you kidding me?
You need 3 to be a great team.
What?
You need 3 Hall of Famers to be a great team. That's one of my definitions.
And you're the dude that holds guys accountable for joining forces for a big 3?
Oh, I hate that. I try to be crazy.
But you just finished saying you need 3.
Yeah, I think you
just said they need 3. But they go and get 3, and you got a problem with that. See, you all over the place, Phoenix. You're all over the place, as you would say.
Got 3 Hall of Famers?
No, they don't.
Thank you.
They got 2. They got 2.
I agree.
They got 2.
I agree.
And Booker, and see, to me, it's 2. It's 2. You don't need 3. You need 2. And especially when they play in the backcourt together, which Booker and CP3 does. DeAndre Ayton is no scrub. Mikal Bridges might be Defensive Player of the Year. Did you know that?
He's not a great player.
Excuse me.
Good player, not a great player.
Excuse me.
Is he better than Jamal Wilkes?
Time out. When we looked at Rodman, we didn't see a guy offensively that we thought was a great player, but rebounding and defense, we thought he was a great player. He went into the Hall of Fame. That is true.
That's debatable.
That is true. Okay, when we saw Bill Walton in Portland, said you want to bring up the 70s. Okay, was Maurice Lucas and Lionel Hollins and these guys great? No, but he was.
But the way they played the game was Hall of Fame.
Oh, so now so now we're getting into a style of game.
On Phoenix?
So now we're getting into a style of play.
Jay Crowder is a Hall of Famer?
No, he is not. No, he's not. But they're not scrubs. And what I'm trying to say, excuse me, what I'm trying to say to you is this. You said, I'm going by you because you see, Doggy, I don't just have the luxury of listening to you on Wednesday mornings.
Yeah, you have an advantage.
No,
I hear you.
I listen to you all the time.
You got an advantage.
So I'm listening to you, right? And I'm hearing you lament the big 3s that are assembled. I'm hearing you lament the brand of play and all the style of play. But when these guys go out there, and they play team basketball. They pass the ball. They're selfless. They move without the basketball. They got a jump shot. They got a mid-range game. They finish at the basket. They're fundamentally sound. They're exceptionally well coached. Now you want to sit up there and say, where's the Hall of Famers? You keep moving the ball. You keep moving the ball, and you can't do that.
Phoenix is lucky they beat the Clippers last year. They had that play at the end with a 10th of a second to go when they got the basket.
Excuse me.
And they got killed by Milwaukee late in that series.
Did the Phoenix Suns?
Come on, the Phoenix Suns are a great team.
Did the Phoenix Suns win the Western Conference? And by the way, after winning the Western Conference, who's got the best record in basketball right now?
Let me ask you a question.
Excuse me, answer the question.
Stephen A.
Stephen A.
Excuse me, hold on. If the Suns were that great, why didn't you have them going into the season as winning the championship? Why were you saying the Warriors were a lock? You knew what the Suns were.
Because I believe and still believe that a healthy Warriors team are an assemblage of the greatest shooters I've ever seen in my life. And I believe they're shot makers, and that offsets anything you throw at people. It's not a knock against the Phoenix Suns. It's that I hold Steph Curry and a healthy Klay Thompson in this high regard. And Jordan Poole and the way that he has come on with Draymond. If Rodman's a Hall of Famer, by the way, Draymond's a Hall of Famer. I'm going to say it on national television. If Dennis Rodman, and I believe he's a Hall of Famer because I love Dennis Rodman. If Dennis Rodman is a Hall of Famer when he did nothing offensively, nothing, okay?
Right.
He didn't play make.
Oh, he did nothing.
Okay, no. He was a defender and a rebounder.
And an offensive rebounder.
And an energizer bunny. When I look at Draymond Green is a playmaker, a facilitator, and on defense, we know that the brothers are religiously a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. If Dennis Rodman is a Hall of Famer, Draymond Green going into the Hall of Fame, and he's a 3-time champion, okay? Let's not ignore that. I can't understand how you think you get to dismiss all of these people.
Medals.
Excuse me?
No, he's talking about, Molly's talking about Draymond Green. You might be right. That's debatable. I wouldn't put him in the Hall of Fame myself.
Would you put Rodman there?
You know, he's a unique character.
You put Rodman
he's
there?
a young character.
I didn't ask for a dissertation. I asked you a question.
And
give me an answer.
And stop with the best record. Seattle with Peyton and Sean, and with Peyton, Gary Payton and Sean.
And who did they lose to? Kemp.
They lost to Denver. They won 65 games. They didn't get out of the first round. You can't go by regular season success. Go in the postseason.
Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and them lost in the first round to Ralph Sampson and Olajuwon. in the first round.
Oh, it was a conference final.
Okay.
Hold it.
Conference.
No, I gotta double check that.
81.
You might be right. In
81.
Okay.
That was
I got to get into a
I
commercial
thought
break.
first rate.
I just want to be clear
Sorry.
on one thing. I want to
Okay.
be clear on one thing.
Sure.
You think that the Suns are a great team?
Yes.
Okay.